Hello, we are back again.
So you're not good to get out together.
My name is Patricia,
So
and
I
your name is?
get rid of this time.
My nephew and I are
So
here
we're going.
today.
Yeah, this is trying to do my stuff in my pen. With doing my stuff.
We are here today studying with you the word from Tehillah, chapter 42, together. And we stand as a unit because the scripture said, from the lips of babes, we progress, we elevate. And the Father had been using us tremendously in different ways over the past season. And today I have decided to just let go of the fleshly way of things and allow the ruah to take it all over and let Him be our guide and our lead. That we're here today to celebrate the study of the book that direct our path when we are so down and doesn't know where to go. This book, Tehillim, lift that downcasted spirit to a place, to a higher Cassandra that we will never think of going. And so we just wanted to go in to the word directly and not indirectly, because the Ruach HaKodesh has directed us. He has set up this moment and time that we had no idea of, but He set up that this Pesach season that we are about to face, that He's given us a tremendous barakah on our lives. And this is the tremendous barakah that He had just given to us by having my nephew and I sharing with you all the goodness of our Eloha. Tehillah chapter 42, and I read, to the chief singer, a poem for the sons of Koach. As a deer longs for the water streams, a deer longs for the water streams, so my being longs for you, O Elohim, as the deer longs
Not gonna get out here.
for the water stream, so my soul longs for you, Elohim. Elohim included of the Father, the Ben, and the Ruach HaKodesh. And so there's a threefold card that our nephesh so longing for. A deer is in the desert, and after a long period of time, that deer is longing to be refreshed. And when you give that deer that freshness, which is the water that that deer will drink, it revives to go again. So is our spirit, our nephesh. When we get the refreshed revelation, a refreshed revelation from the word as we dig deeper and deeper, we rise above the surface of things, above the flesh. There's so much in this Tehillim that we can receive from, but because we miss our moments, we get the wrong understanding of the things that the Father is really saying. My being thirsts for Elohim, for the living hell. my being thirsts, my whole of me is dehydrated because I'm lacking the word inside of me. I have no word and I'm craving after the word of El. El meaning God, that you call him God. The hell mean the Aleph and the Lamed that makes up that word. It means a proper noun, power. It means that it takes us, it takes a position that cannot be overwritten, that cannot be vetoed. Only Yahweh himself can swear within himself to give us a promise. When shall I enter in to appear before Elohim? When my being longing and wants to know, when shall I enter in the presence of my Father, the esteem of my Father, the greatness of him? When shall I enter in to appear before Elohim? My tears have been my food day and night, while they say to me all day, where is your Elohim? But my tears has been my food day and night, while they say to me, where is your Elohim? Who they? My struggles speaking to me, my situations that I've been going through is bombarding my mind and asking, where is your Elohim? Where is your God? You have been praying and you are not able to pay your bills. Your bills is still being stuck and still built up, and you still ministering. Where? But my inner spirit tells me to proceed with what you have and keep pushing. One day you will come out. You will. These I remember and pour out my being within me. You see, I remember these times. My tears became my food night and day. But these times I remember because I remember the words that my enemies whisper and make a mockery of me. And because of those things, it gives me a tenacity never to let up, never to throw in the towel, but keep in alignment with the things of Eloha. For I used to pass along with the throng, many people, the groups, the friends. But watch this. I went with them to the house of Elohim with the voice of joy and praise, a multitude celebrating a festival. Why are you depressed, O my being? And you restless within me? Wait for Elohim, for I shall yet thank him. The deliverance of his face. O my Elohim, my being is depressed within me. Therefore I remember you from the land of the Jordan and from the heights of Harmon, from Mount Mitzhar. Deep calls to deep at the song of your waterfalls. All your waves and breakers passed over me. My day, Yahweh. By day, Yahweh commands his kindness, and by night, his song is with me. A prayer to the hell of my eye. I say to El, my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why do I go moaning because of the oppression of the enemy? My enemies have reproached me like a crushing of my bones. While they say to me all day long, where is your Elohim? Why are you depressed, O my being? And why are you restless within me? Wait for Elohim, for I shall yet thank him, the deliverance of my face and my Elohim. Let us just ride back up to verse 6 a moment and see what the Ruach HaKodesh had been saying. Oh, my Elohim, my being is depressed within me. This is the season when we begin to approach some tough days in our lives where we call hardship upon hardship. And you have no place to turn. But the only place that you have is the word and your altar. And you begin to go to that altar with your tears being your food day and night, while the enemy are out there whispering into your mind that you will never get out. And you've been depressed and you're asking the Father as to why am I going through this? How long shall I be in here? I need you to take me out. I need you to bring me to a standstill that I can see your glory and your esteem arise in me. The scripture says in the Torah that when the cloud lifts itself up from that tent, Moshe will say, arise, Eloha, and let your enemies be scattered. And when the glory rested on the tents, he will say, return, Yahweh, and let your glory cover the countless people. We need to make a declaration. Yes, the Father already powerful, and he already did the deliverance for us. But we, as flesh, needs to step out from our physical domain and take a stand on that word and say to our lively situation that is currently before us that you are here now, but my Father shall arise and let his enemies, you that is before me, be scattered and never to come back. We need to make that permanent declaration unto Abba and let him know that we put him in front. We allow him to lead us. Let me see what else is he saying from this verse. Therefore I remember you from the land of the Jordan. Remembering you from the land of the Jordan. What that does mean? The Jordan, Jordan. I had to go down to come up. When the nation of Israel were crossing the Jordan in the book of Yehoshua, the scripture said that they had to cross the river. And the river in that time and season was very high and rough that can electrocute them that they can die. Yet the word was for the Kohen to go in the center while that roughness is there, to go in the center, the navel of that river and take a stand. And so this is where the co-op, the children is saying, watch this. I remember you from the land of the Jordan. Wait. In my time of struggles, I came before the altar. Some of us don't know it, but some know it. I know it now because of the experience. When you bring your situation before the altar and you see his deliverance, the first thing hit home. I know you. You once delivered me so at so time at so location. You remember it because it is not the same thing, but it is the same spirit that direct you and pull you out from that dungeon, where you can say, I know what it is. This is not my first time. It is not my first time on the threshing floor. I know it. And you may come in a different way, but I know that spirit. You may say a different statement, but I know that structure, that stand. You see, this is what it is. You delivered me from my turmoil that I face, but I remembered you. You're the one who crosses with us at the Jordan. I remembered you. And because you can remember, Zakar, that's the reason why the Father said, I always wanted you to remember me. And how could you remember the Father? The Father said we are to put the words, let it be on our fingers and our, on our actual doorposts. The man they're using to fill up because everything are in there on their mind, pace it on their arms. Let us have it on our seat, everywhere on our seat. You know why is he saying that? So you can remember me in the time of struggles, in your time of trials. You can remember Yah did it. And he did it again for me and again and again. He did it for me. This is not my first time that he had been doing things for me. He did it. And so we stay away from sin. Go back in that corner. We stay away from sin. Sin is deadly for us. Sin is a destructive tool for the human soul. The human soul needs salvation and security and sanctification. That's what the human soul needs, because the soul is like a baby. We need to take care of that baby. This flesh is what misleading the soul, misguiding the soul, and taking the soul down another road. And that soul has been moaning and complaining within us, but we are not given a listening ear. He who has an ear to hear, let him hear. In other words, what Yeshua meant by that parable, he's saying that you once had a taste of my glory. Listen to the next. Pay attention here. He's speaking to those who once had a taste of my glory. Why are you still allowing flesh to override you and bring you to a place where you've been stuck and can't move? Like my nephew said, you've been stuck, Auntie. I remember you at the place of the Jordan. And from the heights of Hermon. Heights of Hermon. What's this? Mount Hermon. What really is Mount Hermon? It is the highest mountain in the world. It is the airport where the fallen angels arrived. 200 and some, 200 and some, that the book of Enoch talks about. And that Mount Hermon is in the somewhere in the strategic of the peninsula of the Middle East, where they have the UN headquarters located right there. And it was right there Yeshua was standing just before the gates of Hades when he said, and you thought it was Kepha. He could not have speak to Kepha because Kepha is flesh. And if he was speaking to Kepha, the devil would have battled flesh, because the devil, remember, the devil comes down with all the powers and the authority that he had while he was reigning in the Shamahim, and he has hosts. So man is beneath that. But Kepha was the vessel that he uses to minister through. And so that's why he was standing there and said, upon this I shall build my congregation, my foundation, where the gates of Hades, of Gehenna cannot prevail. And the Gehenna was facing him at the time, and he was saying to him right there and then that my time will come, which means he's speaking of his death, and he will go down. I shall shut you up, Mount Hermon. I read where it said that that mountain was in a shape of a goat. And when I read that, I quickly went back to scripture, where the scripture said to me about 2 goats was chosen from the flock, and one was a sign to Hazael, and one, the other, was a sign for that sacrificial lamb. And right there and then, I remember I said the goat is a symbolic picture to show us that this beast has an instinct for darkness, and it pulls the energy, the demonic energy, because that was the scapegoat, the Azazel, that was sent in, and one of the Cohen had to dress in his garments to take that, because the priest, the Cohen, will come and lay hands on Azazel, and he releases all the sin on that head, and then that priest will take it. What tells me that you does not leave your sin alone. You make sure that you bury it. You don't just drop it off, because it comes back double and sevenfold to take you down this time. What I miss, I will not pass you this time. And so that priest goes out there and then release the cord, and it goes down the ditch and break his neck. Meaning, I break the neck of sin over your life. You do not play with it and leave it there. That's what it meant. When the priest returns back to the actual courtyard, he's unclean until evening. He has to bathe himself.
So you guys on the touch something, you guys.
That touched me right there. So here, watch this. Here it says, and from the heights of Ormond, because as your situation gets worse and worse, the devil comes in and he shows you that it is over. Nothing can work for you because it is over. He already hijacked your mindset. It is hard for anyone to get past that. And that is where you call the height of Mount Hermon, because it steps into your situation and things are just going waste. You're going to waste and doesn't know it. Probably before that you had a faith, you had a word. You allow the situation to get over you and go past. And the devil, that's what he wants. He wants you to let go of the truth so he can invade you. And he has no place to take you but down. Eternal damnation for your soul. Your nephesh is so important. From Mount Mitzhar, here we're seeing deep calls to deep. Verse 7, deep calls to deep at the song of your waterfalls. I love this verse. I always hear this verse being taught and preached in many forms. But today, as I stand before this camera, I'm not seeing it that way. I am seeing, as you grow deeper in the word, the depth of this word calls for depth. And you need to launch out in your faith so it can activate your actions. Because if something activate the woman's action to cause her to touch the seat, there is something in her tells her that if you touch that seat, you shall be healed, and never to go back to the doctors. And so deep is calling to deep in our lives. We need to go deeper than the surface. There are times we need to do and take some, some risk. And this is calling for one and all. Only one can go, only one can enter. You will need to take the bullet yourself, because it's not everybody's going with you. Because deep is calling for deep. And who is that? That is him. And he's calling you to come more and more. And the life situation tells you that if you throw in your all, what would you pay your rent with and your bills with? Because you're shutting down your account. But the Father said you to pour your all. Give it all to me. If you believe me, I shall see you through. If you believe me, I shall heal you. If you believe me, I get you past those gates that the devil shows you've been able to get past. Deep is calling redeem. And you need to bend your ears, as my nephew showing you deep. You go in deep. Yeshua went in the depth of the belly of the earth, because deep call him to deep, and he's our leader. Yeshua Mashiach, he wants us to understand that what he did is an example to show us so we can do it. All your waves and breakers passed over me. Watch this. Where do you know that the waves and breakers will pass over you and just pass you like that and don't touch you? Because deep has called you in and told you to launch out, cross the Jordan River, go to the center of this river, and you will get over to your destination. So the breakers, watch this, the breakers, the waves and breakers pass you over. They didn't see you there. You were right there, but it didn't touch you. Only you have a testimony that I was in the midst of the struggle. I was in the middle of that river. Only you can come out to give that testimony. But the waves and the breakers didn't touch me, because the glory of Elohim is what protects me. Because what I adhere to his voice when he calls me into the depth of his word to eat the meat of the word, like for Peter. He was on the boat, and the demonic spirits were stirring that water up when Yeshua was passing. And what did Cephas say? He said, I'll come out and walk on that water. It's impossible for flesh to walk on it, but I launched it out because deep has called me. From the time he turned his eyes away from depths that called him, that's when he sank. He showed us that when you change your way and change your course of the direction the Father calls us, we sink. We have to keep focus. Don't turn to the right nor to the left, but we go and focus. As no blinkers there, we step fast. Know that he is Elohim. That's what he's saying. That's what he's asking us to do. That's all he's asking us to do, Kavarim. That's all he's asking us. All your waves and breakers pass over me. That's a great testimony for someone right there. By day, Yahweh commands his kindness. By day, you see his kindness, isn't it? In the daybreak, Yeshua said, while I'm in this world, I'm the light of the world. He said, a man worketh while I'm in his world. While day is still standing, you work it. You see, but the night time is where you rest for new downloads, because the Father downloads in us. We doesn't know that, isn't it? We wouldn't know that. All we need to do is to take advice what he's saying and go with it. By day, Yahweh commands his kindness, and by night, his song is with me, a prayer to the hell of my eye. The song is with me. By night, I begin to worship him. I begin to lift him up. I begin to give him all the praise and the glory and thank him for who he is, because he been worthy to be praised. I say it again, he is being worthy to be praised. And we need to give him the praise and the glory and the highest praise, and lift him up and worship him, because he is our sanctifier. He's our keeper of all things. I say to hell, my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why do I go moaning because of the oppression of the enemy? Why? Why? Why do I go moaning? Why do you forget me? We at the altar, and it's okay, because flesh is trying to fight us away from our direction. So we're there fighting ourselves through prayers and intercessions and asking him, why have you forget us? Nothing is wrong with that. As long as we're on the right track, we're in the right place, and we're talking to our Father and asking him why. And he's there saying, take the course, my child. Just take the course. Just go through. The pressure, I know, is hard. You in high pain right now, but my child, I heard the prayers. My eyes is on you. I am saying you. Keep on doing what you had started. I am able to finish you. I started you before I finish you. My enemies have reproached me like a crushing of my bones, while they say to me all day long, where is your Elohim? They keep on oppressing me. Right now, I'm facing this. I doesn't have an easy life. My enemies are out there to oppress me in different formats and wanted me to lose my way in Eloha. But I have decided I gone too far. I gone too far to give up now. I cannot give up, because to be honest with you, I don't know about anyone out there, but I know about me. I have no one out there who cares for me like the way Hashem is. So if I give up on him and I allow the flesh that cause me to throw in the towel, then who do I call on in the day of my struggles, when I know that the enemy had always been harassing me for years and deceiving me? Then who would I call upon? So I have no other choice but to stay in the vine and keep pressing and threshing that threshing floor, because I believe and know one day he will bring me out. And he indeed started bringing me out, not in ways that my fleshly eyes will desire, but what the Ruach HaKodesh desire for me. What is the best that he desired for me? And he is indeed bringing me straight out and surprising my fleshly appearance, because all I'm saying, this is not like me. And I knew this is Abba, and I give Abba the praise. That's all I'm saying. I keep giving him the credit, because I realize that me by myself is nothing. Without him, I'm nothing. And anything good comes out of me, I knew it's him. And I'm proudly give it back to him publicly. I let people know it is not me. I do not want the credit. Thank Elohim for me. It is not me. It is him takes this vessel and take my mouth and my voice to minister to you today. It's nothing to do with me. I can't reach anyone. It is the power of Elohim. He's who maintaining me and maintaining this ministry. El Shaddai's ministries. He is who maintaining it. Because it is his. It is not mine. It's not my people. It is his people. And all I did is avail myself, and I said, use me more, that you can touch another nation out there. There are many people out there who never heard the word preached this way, and is about to hear it for the very first time, where they begin to change their lifestyle. There's a transitional turning around for them because they hear this word preached in a different way. They have never heard it being teach and preach. Because this woman is saying on that tape is nothing to do with her. I always been hearing it is me, and I took the credit. But now I'm hearing the word is being taught. Is nothing to do with her. So who it is, she's pointing us back like Meshach Yahusha. He never took the credit. He have never forgive anyone. He cannot forgive no one. He points us back to our Father. The Father is who resurrected and heals and do everything that you see Meshach Yahusha did while he was on this earth for 3.5 years. He said, you see me, you see my Father. Everything that I've ever done, I did according to what I saw. Some of the Parshurim said he's crazy, he's a madman. I mean, he did according to what he saw. He's demonic. He's casting out demons by Beelzebub. And Yeshua said, how can Beelzebub cast out Beelzebub? If the kingdom of darkness is to stand, it cannot stand if he's casting it out. But why were they saying these things? Because we have never heard this type of teachings, and he's speaking as one in authority, who walks in authority. We need to let our guards down when it comes to the fleshly and pride system, and take up the guards that the Father shows us. Guard my commands, keep my word, adhere to everything that I told you to do. But what is happening with man? Man is letting down their guards in the wrong place and wrong timing, where the devil have entry to your life. And your next remark will be, isn't that what the word said? We are to let down our guards for him. How foolish can you get when you're not using common sense? He have never told you to walk in the devil's camp and let down your guard. Let me take you there. The scripture in Ephraim, because that scripture teaches about Ashatan's strategic kingdom. It is very sophisticated. He has a very sophisticated kingdom, and none of us is taking it any mind. We just actually, reading it, and we reading over what it's really saying, but we are not taking it down to the level of what he have said. I wanted to pick it up from, for the rest of my brothers, be strong in their dawn and in the mightiness of his strength. No, not that verse. I want to pick it up from verse 11. Ephraim, the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, on the 11th verse. I'm starting from there, and I will read down what the Father shows us about Ashatan's kingdom and tell me when you finish reading if you're going to walk in this camp and strip yourself naked before him, like some of us do. In arrogantly, I will call it, that you didn't know. That's why you did it. For the lack of knowledge, many perish. But now you begin to get some knowledge that tells you that I will not walk into the devil's camp and let down my guards. Because that's the first thing the devil wants me to do anyway. Your association will have to be disassociated. Ask the Father to dislocate it. Because the associations that you're in right now is leading you down a road that is not good for your nephesh. And you will know it from the fruits you know them. And someone say you can't judge me. Yes, you can. You can judge someone. You can't judge a cover by its book. Yes, you can. You can't judge a cover by its book. The English translation is what stirs men up to confusion and lies. Because the English does not have a standard direction. It is twisted. What do you mean? Amen. I may be saying something here to you, and because you knew what I'm saying is correct, I'm going to twist that word around and say I didn't mean it that way. It means so. You're a liar and a deceiver. You've been working by Ashatan and using his tools. The Hebrew said, give me the definite article because it means I'm going the right directions. There's no twistedness about it. I am open. Watch this. I'm picking up this verse from verse 11. Watch this. Ephesians chapter 6 and 11 verse, it said, put on the complete armor of Elohim. For you do have power. Watch this. For you to have power to stand against the screams and schemes of the devil. Let me read it over. You may not understand and didn't hear properly. I have been read. Put on the complete armor of Elohim, for you to have power to stand against the what? The schemes of the devil. In other words, what this verse is saying to us today, brothers and sisters, in order for you to kick against the devil, we need to have a level of word to come against him. And the devil knows it too when you have that level of word. Oh yeah, he knows it. You need to have that garment. What is that garment that you need to put on your garment before you can what? The Hebrew said here, put on the complete armor of Elohim, for you to have power to stand against the schemes of the devil. In order for you to have the power to stand against every plot and schemes of the devil, you need to carry and wear the garment of Elohim. What is that garment of Elohim? That's the first thing we need to know now. We need to find out. I don't know. What is the garment of Elohim? I have shocking news for you. It is not your academics. You know why? Because Yeshua come against academics. Watch this. When he said in the Brit Hadashah, he said, even the lilies who didn't work, didn't spin, I clothed them. Why are you fretting about what you don't have and what you don't have to put on and you didn't have food? You just seek my presence. Don't be like the heathen, like the pagan does. They go after the worldly stuff. The infrastructure that they put up is not real. Come by my word and my direction. You come and see for yourself. The scripture said that the Talmudim did ask Yeshua, where is he living? He didn't tell them, I'm living at so lots. No, he didn't say that. He said, come and see. In other words, if you really wanted to follow me, you need to make a choice too. There's a choice in there to come and see where I'm living. It depends if you like my home or not. I'm not going to tell you I have this and I have that. In your head, you need to come without seeing. And the scripture said when they get to his house, it was on the 10th hour. Why did it explain that? It was actually 2 hours before the day declined, because the day declined at 6, according to the Hebrew calculations and Hebrew timing. But why did the scripture go out his way to explain that the Talmudim arrived at Yeshua's house on the why? Because the scripture is saying to you, wants you to get it, that everything that you have ever done and about to do must be done in a orderly way. Order. It must be done in order and not in confusion. Oh, shoots. What is it? This is not what I wanted. I didn't know it was this. You make me do this, and you make me say this, and you make me look like that. And I'm just, the fault is just start of the blaming, shifting the blame. He started off shifting the blame because it just reminds him of the sin that happens in the Garden of Eden. When he came down and asked Adam, he had been calling Adam, where are you? My nephew know that story where Adam is, where they were. They were hiding. And he said, why are you hiding? Because I am naked. Okay, I know that, but who told you you were naked? Were you messing with the actual tree that I told you not to mess with? Who told you? Oh, you know what? I would not have done it, but because of the woman that you gave to me, I really didn't want to get married. Because Marge, that's a bracelet. That's what you call a lock on you. I really didn't like that. But I didn't have much choice. So, my mother wants me to get married. My father wants me to get married. But listen, I'm hearing because of, but I have not hear you take up responsibility for this act. All right, I moved to the woman. What did happen? She said, the serpent that you have made and placed in the garden have beguiled me. And I picked of the tree, of the fruit of the tree. And this was the first prophecy that came from the Father. I am paraphrasing what's said in there, the conversation that they had. He never did have a conversation with the enemy. But the serpent, he never. He said, as from this day forward, you shall crawl on your belly. Right? He have never. Which tells me that that serpent was walking upright. But now it is crooked. Your ways are crooked when you deceive somebody. Tells me immediately. You're not upright anymore. Because you decided to surrender to the devil's schemes and plots for a little while, then you shall be crooked like him. Because you surrender. But I needed it. You have no right. You're a deceiver. And he went back to the woman and he said to the woman, he said, as from this day forward, he shall, watch this, crushed. Because I'm putting enmity between you, thy seed, and your seed. Between your seed. Now, this seed that he's talking about, you're telling me now that Ashatan has seed, offsprings? Yes, he do. Yes, he do. From the time Ashatan, how did Ashatan get here in the first place? Because he was in the Shamahim. So which tells you, should kicked in, that there's offsprings for him on the earth. He didn't get the seed because of Adam and Noah. With the picking of the fruit, there's offsprings. There are people there who are willing to listen to Ashatan's words, because Ashatan, Nahash, it means splitting of the tongue. That's what his name is, Nahash. And there was a king by the name of Nahash was dealing with David at the time. When that same king died and his son took the throne, and David sent his condolences down there, and his men told him that, listen, David is sending spies to spy out the land so he can take everything. So what he did, he tore the garments on the buttocks and shaved off their beard. He tore them away from their presence, that they could not have returned back to Jerusalem. And so what David said, stay in Jericho until your beard grows back. Nahash seed. So we see the destructiveness of this seed. It disinherits you from your first estate. It destroys you completely and bring you to shame. We should not listen to Nahash. Coming back to what the father said to the woman in that garden. He said, the crushing of the head, he was speaking about Yeshua. Because Yeshua comes and crush the devil's head, but the devil will crush his heel. Did the devil kill Yeshua? Did he attack him by his heel? Of course he did. And he said, you shall bear children in sufferings and in pain. And doesn't mean childbirth as what people are placing it as, that because of that sin, that's the reason why you're in pain for childbearing. No, what Yahuwah was saying to the woman, that two of your sons, one will die and one will live, that you will birth out, and it will hurt you beyond. And there's no covering for you, because now you have to turn to the man. And that man was never there for you, because if he was there, you were not being beguiled. Look at that. That pain that goes on our mother. Let's come back. Let's try to combat this. How can you combat it? It takes another sacrifice. Someone to shed that blood, to save you from that, to redeem you from that. And it takes Yeshua's body to do it. Verse 12. We still in Ephesians chapter 6, Ephesians. Because we do not wrestle against what? Flesh and blood, but against principalities. Because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against what? Principalities. The Father is showing us, stop going into the devil's camp and strip yourself naked, put on the full armor, because you're not wrestling against flesh and blood, against yourself. The devil is not made up of your ingredients. He's not like you. He will batter you. You're wrestling against principalities above the second heaven. You mean demonic powers. Against authorities. This authorities, he has the governments. The world system is in his hands. And everything that they have done, Gabriel? No. Man. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Hmm? What happened? Hmm? What happened? What happened? What happened?
My waist hurts.
Hmm?
I said.
Hmm?
My waist hurts.
Your waist hurts?
Yeah.
Trina, come.